All right, we are live.
Yay. I'm James.
He's just done for the day. Hello and thank you for listening and watching, or listening and just listening, and watching. You could also just watch and not listen, but that'd be weird. To
Uh,
productivity and procrastination. I'm Joe, and he said his name. So now we're gonna be talking about becoming more productive and less procrastinating. And we're currently, theoretically, working on Project Pancake.
well, that was just about right. All right.
Yeah,
So,
nailed it.
so,
So,
well, I had a crap week.
well, tell me about your crap week.
All right. I will. And I'm wearing my Seahawks shirt because of it, since they got completely annihilated yesterday in a romp. So, that's how I felt like my week. So I'm wearing them in honor of that.
Rest in
Okay,
peace.
so, you know, this week, I mean, yeah, I didn't do much of anything. I just felt like not doing anything. And it first started with this video you made me watch. Then after that, it was like, I didn't want to do a damn thing.
So what I'm hearing is it's my fault. I should have done better.
No, no, that's not what I meant. No. I even have notes to discuss this thing, so I guess I did that. I mean, I worked on a little bit of business, but I didn't do anything. I kept on I kept on multitasking with video games as I was working on business. And I think that put me in such a bad state. Like,
Oh,
that I didn't want to do anything all week. I don't know why. I ended up taking a walk last night with Heather and just kind of letting it all out. And
mm-hmm.
it was a nice night last night. Um, really nice temperatures. But anyway, and what the funny part was is I was all ready to do kind of exactly what I wanted to do, which was, figure out everything. Just go off by myself and have a little bit of time. And I never did. I never did, which was a mistake. I felt like because of that, I let anything come up to distract me this week. And once I am distracted, there's a high probability that whatever that is gonna consume my whole day. So
Mm-hmm.
so that leads me into, basically the discussion of this video we watched and some of the things that were in it. And so yeah, that's where I'm at.
All
It's
right.
my crappy week.
Do you want to take a dive into that video since we're on the subject?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So that video was about how to combat or how to deal with self control. or like just some
Yeah,
information on
basically
self-control.
self-control. Yeah, like the new scientific information on how you know, self-control is boiled down into X factors, basically.
Yeah. The synopsis was, to my understanding, self-control is a diminishing resource, which is, I don't think that's new information. I think that's been known for a while.
All
But the
right,
new
well,
information.
let's talk about that point right there. I don't
Okay,
agree.
you don't agree?
Well, I'd agree with part of it. This Manabar that this guy used as a example, um, yeah, that makes sense when you have self control and are using it. Oh, yeah, it's a depleting resource at that point. However, what he never talks about is how to increase really that mana bar. So it kind of implies that this mana bar is something also can fill like a mana bar. And so
Mm-hmm.
you would think like, oh, the next morning, hey man, you should be fresh, ready to go. That mana bar is just like any other inn that you stay in. You are ready and have all the self control. No, I don't wake up and like self control, mana bar full, time to get crap going on. It's so much crap. You know, it is not analogous to a mana bar. And every morning is not analogous to having a full mana bar because you have basically no stress in the morning, full sleep. You know, all the variables should be at their peak in the morning, you know, for most
Mm-hmm.
people, I would assume. For me, anyway. And so to simplify it down to that, I think is a mistake.
Interesting. I definitely can't argue with like the logic that in the mornings I don't feel any more motivated. Well, I don't know. It's hard to describe because this week I was not this week. This last morning and the morning before it, I have been pretty motivated.
Now, when he talks about, you know, stress being one of the major factors and the emotional, you know, outlet kind of part, um, that makes a lot of sense when it comes to, you know, why you're not doing things and all that. But I think the meat of the video is the self-awareness factor, which I think we've brought up in
Mm-hmm.
an episode maybe recently even, because I think I was talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about how, you know, hey, when we're doing our best is when we're really paying attention, and
Mm-hmm.
that takes a lot of attention. Like it takes everything out of you. You know, you have to just, you know, be aware, you know, the whole time of what you're doing. That's hard. So I would agree with that part. The moments I am doing the best are the moments that I am not distracted and am paying attention to my exact situation, and
Yeah.
then I choose to do something positive.
And we'll definitely leave a link to this video in the description. Another part that really resonated with me is the whole like you basically choose whether or not you're going to do it by paying attention to the urge to get something done. Like, let's say, oh, I have to go make my bed. You're like, oh, I just remembered I have to go make my bed. If you let your brain get taken away from that moment and get taken away from that need to do that, more than likely you're not going to do it. You have to make a moment to choose to do it in that moment, or you're going to wander off and do something else.
I don't even remember that section.
Basically,
Maybe my mind wandered off. I listened to it twice too. I don't think he said it in such a way that you did. I think the way that you said it made a little bit more sense.
At least that's what I've noticed. Like when I'm thinking about things that I have to get done, if I sit there and I think about them, I start planning on how I'm going to do it, and then I get it done. But if I think about, I need to get this done, and then I'm like, well, because basically you make the decision.
Right. Yes, and that's like when I'm out doing something, and all of a sudden I think, oh, and I need to do this. It just snaps into my head.
Yeah.
If I don't do it right now, or set some kind of reminder up that I will see, I'll forget about it right after that. It happens so many times in my life that that now setting that message to myself, alarm on my phone, is usually the one I do, or I text somebody, like that's part of it. I do it immediately now because it's failed me so many times that now it's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like you have to keep, the only way to actually, for me to actually like have self-control is to remember that during these moments of like, oh, I need to do this, and then remembering that's when you choose whether or not to do it. And the more you think about it, the more likely you are to get it done. Whereas if you think about, oh, I need to get this done, and you like start thinking about something else, you're not going to end up doing it.
But that brings down to the whole self-awareness thing again. I mean, sometimes
it is a side part, but something that's been resonating with me the last couple of days since I watched that video is like when I think, oh, I need to get this done, I think about it, and I know that in that moment, that's when I'm choosing whether I get to do it or not.
Right. And not choosing to do something is a decision that, some people don't seem to think that, but it is. So failed myself enough to realize that.
Me and you both.
He also brought up self-control equals the capacity to monitor internal conflict.
I think I think that's what I'm getting at, is the internal conflict. Is when you choose to do things or not. When you're battling with yourself on whether you want to get something done or not.
I don't think he was talking about the way you're talking about it. I think he was talking about internal conflict as in like something more analogous to stress, or like when you want to tell off a boss and you don't. Well, that's emotional suppression, which I don't think I have to worry too much about that, except I did this last week. But I mean, you might have more of that, working.
Customer service.
But yeah. Were there any other notes? He had meditation on his list, which
I know.
And to some degree, I think he was trying to make it analogous to everything else, like self-awareness equals meditation equals self-control, and I was like, this isn't substitutionary, A doesn't equal B equals C.
I would like to get into meditation. I think it's something that I would benefit from, at least just escaping from,
I guess it depends on the definition of meditation. If your definition would be the, trying to get into a beta waves practically, where you're just asleep while you're there. No thanks. I'd like to meditate on, you know, different things.
Yeah,
You
I think
know,
just giving my
so
brain a break, or giving myself time away from being constantly bombarded with attention grabbing things. Giving myself that room to decompress, think about things. I think that's important.
well, that's, I mean, doing those types of things is the same to me as self awareness, as just giving yourself an actual moment and maybe a place and a specific time and maybe other, you know, environmental factors to do that.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know. For me, that sounds like a big waste of time. I I would rather always do that. Now, I would substitute, meditation for, for me, it would be prayer. But,
Mm-hmm.
that would be more of a forever thing. Like you don't want to end that. And that way you have a constant awareness all the time of what you're doing, which seems a lot easier to me than, oh.
Well, I don't think all meditation is like that stereotypical Hollywood meditation. I
It
think
seems
there's a
like
lot.
that's how everybody presents it, though.
Yeah, it's because
Like in
it's
all these videos.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's
Meditation.
the case.
Ding. They got the gong.
I've done some research
My
on
dad
different
has a
types of
gong.
medication. What?
Medication. Oh.
No, meditation.
Uh,
But
Freudian
yeah,
slip there. Silence. No,
well,
Joe's
I
one of the
mean,
most sober people I've ever met, just so you all know.
it's painful how sober he is.
Yes, it is. Oh, let's see. What else? I have notes here, so ramble on while I read.
All right. But no, I think there was definitely some good takeaways from that video. I really like a lot of the stuff that that person puts out, so there's definitely a bias there. Um, but just in general, I think there's a lot of good takeaways, and it makes me think about how to maybe structure my life in a different way to be a little bit more productive in trying to break away from distractions and like realizing that the internal conflict is important to consider and keep considering so that way I can actually get it done. Get the thing I want to get done.
Um, so do you have an emotional outlet? That might be, he talks about how emotional suppression is, you know, something that can stop us from self-control. So I would wager that it's important, and I don't think he brought this up. How do you, and I say you as, the listeners as well, how do you let out your emotion? How do you vent? How do you do all these things? For me, I take the walks and do all that and talk about it. And how do you handle it?
I'd have to say part of it has got to be video games in some manner. Um, but other than that, I
Isn't
don't feel
isn't
like
that
I have.
also a distraction though?
Yeah, I would say it is, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if as long as it's like as long as it's a planned distraction.
Mm, well, I guess walking would be a distraction too from getting things done, but I guess we all for
I have a
me,
I have an issue with walking
huh?
outside of my house. I don't know
Oh,
what it is. It's like I feel as though, and I don't know where this stems from, but I feel as though I shouldn't exist outside of my house unless I'm, you know, either buying something or, you know, doing like working or, I shouldn't exist outside of my house for any reason. Like I shouldn't walk. I shouldn't park my car anywhere. Like, it's a weird.
That's so weird. Um, you're 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 from this planet. There's no reason why you shouldn't exist out in the actual environment and not in
Yeah,
this
it's.
man-made cave. I
I feel like I'm
mean,
intruding on the world by existing outside of my home.
that is something you need to just tell yourself is bunk, and you just need to like take a walk every so often.
It's more. It's reason I get like exercise equipment inside my house. Like I had like a treadmill and stuff inside my house just because I didn't want to walk out in the world because I didn't feel like I was allowed to, or I don't know. It's this weird feeling.
Okay, so every now and then we go for a walk. Well, yeah. Do you enjoy those walks? Like, well, I mean, you don't have to. No. um,
Yeah,
you
James.
always say you enjoy those times
Yeah,
out
I
there
do.
in the nature when we're walking. So
No, I absolutely do.
that seems a little odd then
Well,
to me.
it's to me it's different when I'm not by myself, which is another weird
Well,
part of it I
it
haven't even
is.
considered. Like
Sounds
it's
like you
different
know
when I'm not by
walking
myself,
buddy.
if I'm walking by myself or I don't know, it's so weird.
You have a guide. I don't know. He's like someone with access credentials to
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, apparently I'm just
They got the
living
badge.
off you.
I'm with him. Not trespassing. All right. Well, that's interesting.
One of my
I don't
weird
know how
idiosyncrasies.
to deal with that other than just break through that wall and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Um, I did have another thing, another observation written down and that was this guy never, at least I don't remember him saying it. He never mentioned slowing down is a major thing when it comes to um, at least starting the process of being more self-aware. I mean, you have all these distractions, and they're coming at you at 10,000 dings per hour, and just making it so that those things don't happen. They don't interfere in your life for a set period of time, whether that's putting away your phone into the other room and not having it, and that decreases the amount of bombardment that can, and then shutting off some things, maybe putting on some music, instead of getting to a screen, slowing down the rate of, the speed of life nowadays, sometimes can allow the mind to relax a little bit and ease up, and then you can make the right decisions on what you want to do based on productivity. I think slowing down and examining that is a big help. What do you think about that?
I do think slowing down is important, especially in the beginning stages of getting more self-aware and really thinking through the things you do and how they affect your overall day. Because I know if you start your day with a nice doom scroll, you're going to start the day late. You're going to feel weirdly exhausted and frustrated with just having spent that much time in your day. I mean, maybe you're not. Maybe you're someone who recharges from a doom scroll, but Man, I get so frustrated after a doom scroll. I'm like, where did those 3 hours go? And why am I watching a video about some guy building a cabin in the woods?
Dude, I was just watching that last night. It's funny.
So it's really, yeah, I think honing down and like really focusing on like what you do and how it affects your life. And so it takes slowing down to really observe those things.
Maybe there's something to those videos. We ultimately know we need to escape our current confines.
In
Get
this
into nature.
economy? Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, the video, I did enjoy it. Um, and all that. And I think it was kind of right on when it comes to the self-awareness factor. I don't think all of it's analogous, but I think that there's a long list of things that can take away from whatever self-control you're at right now. So I wouldn't say it's a mana bar. I'd say it is. It's like at any moment you can reach your hand into a pocket and pull out like a handful of, or let's say random stones, quantities of them. And some days you got like one stone you pull out. Some days you got a handful, you know? And so it's like random, but regardless, if you don't decide to, you know, reach in and grab that moment, you know, then it doesn't matter how big this mana bar is or whatnot. You're never going to do anything. So it really comes down to the self-control. Are you aware enough to go, okay, I whatever self-control I have this morning, I'm going to use some of that. And that's the hard part for me. The self-awareness thing, I have thought about just getting away today, or, you know, the last week, basically. Just taking some time, not doing things that I normally would do. And, and just being aware and figuring out, you know, hey, I've talked to people and I say, oh yeah, well, any moment, you know, you are the sum of who you've been your entire life. You're this next step, you could just be that next person. And that's true, but you have to fight for it. You know, you have to walk, you know, armed, you know, ready to fight for that and keep it. That's how it feels for me, you know.
And it's not fighting external, it's fighting internal. For me, mostly.
And it's a spectrum. For me, it's mostly external, probably most of the time, and internal is definitely plays a part. But I think each person has a different mixture of that spectrum, and but the battle is still the same. It's what distracts us. What decisions do we allow to be the one that consumes right now? And when they stop, what is the decision that makes it stop? And when do we get back on that horse again? There's a lot of variables in there. You have to be rested enough to be able to be self-aware. there's so many factors. So it's easier in the day, in the morning, when you as rested as you can be. I mean, I'm not
Right.
100% today, but that's what I want to do is I want to shape my day. I want to take the time to go, okay, I need to I need to put myself in a more conducive to productivity kind of routine, and decide what I want to knock out. That's where I'm at.
Nice. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna take time. It's gonna take self-awareness. I think that's the biggest key takeaway. And anything that can promote self-awareness for yourself is, really important. And yeah,
How did your week go?
not great.
Oh, this is week 2 of working 8-hour days. Please give us your observations.
Well, this week I took Saturday off. I had enough vacation, and I just took it off. That's how you combat Saturdays. You just take them off. I'm not excited to do work next Saturday. Fridays and Saturdays are like the worst. Saturdays are probably the worst. At least that I've ever experienced. And it's just not a great experience for me.
All right. Okay, so how was your production this week?
It subpar. I've been working on this cow, and man, it's been a struggle. It's so hard to make things cute and not in that uncanny valley of creepy. I've made a lot of creepy things. Like a lot of creepy things.
Well, maybe that's what you should roll with.
No. I did find
It's
a design
creepy.
that I'm happy with. I can show you some of the creepy things after this. If you comment creepy things in the comments, I will also put them in the Discord so that you also can look upon the creep that I have made. One of which is named Michael. Just so you guys are aware.
Creepy Michael. All right.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I finally made one that I'm not happy. Like, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for a start. And I really just want a start. And so I'm going to line it, color it, and put it up.
Cool.
Yeah. Then
Good.
I made it last night of all times. This morning I was trying some new designs and I just couldn't get what I wanted. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go with what I made last night.
So when you took Saturday off, did you do anything productive, or did you just...
Yeah, I wrote a 1,700 word D&D backstory for a character. It was
your
really
own
fun.
character?
Yep.
I have heard something like this recently. How many D&D games do you have, Joe?
Well, let's not talk specifics. Well, so okay. actual
I remember a time where
tabletop.
you were so busy, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta cut out some of this stuff." And did you fill it all with D&D? That's what I have to wonder.
No, no, no. Here's the thing. Well, there's only going to be one. If not, there's only going to be one D&D thing per week. It's not going to be like it's just different games, but they're going to be like alternating weeks or all sorts of stuff. So it's not like I'm consuming all
Ah,
of my time with it.
okay. There aren't 14 games
I don't
going
have
on
three
right now.
D&D sessions every week or every weekend. No. So I have the
Uh,
one I play with my little humans, and we switch off. So one week it's me doing regular D&D for them, and then the other week it's the oldest doing Pokemon D&D.
okay.
And then on the weekends I'm playing in a I'm not running anything other than the ones for my little humans because I don't have the time to be dedicating to that. And I don't want to dedicate the time to that because I'd rather do other things. So during the weekends, I have an Open Legend TTRPG I've been playing, which Open Legend is an incredible TTRPG if anybody's never played that. And then it's incredible because you can make whatever you want, which is really cool. And then I'm also now playing in a 5e campaign that I just made a character for. So theoretically, I have 4 games going, but there's only going to be like 1 or 2 games a week max. One for sure, mostly one because I play with the little humans, but that's like Thursday nights.
All right. So it's not all consuming then. It's
No,
not
definitely not.
sucking all this time. All right. Well, that's cool. As long as it isn't
Nope.
overwhelming you.
No, no, no. It's the reason why I won't agree to DM anything. It's because I know that is a big time sink. I got this person who I used to run a campaign for, and I was talking about the campaign, and I was like, yeah, it sucks that I don't have the time, blah 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 blah, or something. I don't remember exactly how we got onto it, but they said I would literally beg you to to DM for us again, and that made me so uncomfortable. Because it's like I don't want anybody to ever beg me for anything. Because it's like it puts me in a really weird place, and it's just like I don't want to think. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there, and I don't consider like it seems like a big ego boost, right? But here's the thing: I don't consider myself that great of a DM. I was just much better than the last DM. It was a comparison thing more than like me actually being good. I don't know. It was just a weird feeling to have someone tell me they would beg me for me to DM for them. It was oof. I told them no. You're too cool to beg. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a big time sink once you're a DM. You gotta figure out everybody's stories and how to mix it with the plot and yeah, that's that's a that's a big decision.
And it's so rewarding though. If you have good like players you really like to play with, it's very rewarding. And I want to DM. I just don't want to spend the time doing it just because I don't like a lot of Wizards of the Coast's modules. And so like it'd be like, "Oh, just do a module," but I don't like them. I like to make my own characters and play them how I like to play them. And every single character has like some part of me in it, and I don't know. I like the I like creating my own stuff versus pre-made stuff, and so I make it harder for myself.
Well, you're not doing it now, and it
Yeah.
does sound like it's a lot of time and effort and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, I'm trying not to avoid most of those types of things right now, and I I obviously can't handle what I've got right now. So I'm not going to add anything else. Um,
It's hard. It's hard not to fill your time, and like because it's like if you fill the time, then you don't have to think about doing work because the time's filled and you're just doing stuff that you said you would. And so it's like,
right.
ugh, you have to keep the time
So
scheduled for what you're supposed to be doing with it, and that can be hard too.
so that's why taking away, you know, is probably my next step. I'm just going to take away from what I allow myself to put on the table. Oh, these are possibilities. I can do this. Okay, well, no, because I'm going to restrict myself to this. And then if I do that, that can get me on the right track a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
right now. Um, we'll see how that goes. Uh, Definitely not how I would have thought it would have been right now, but I think everybody has their ups and downs, and so this is the best way for me to get back on track.
Yeah, yeah. It's there's so much goes into actually because like there's this desire to escape work that you'll find any excuse not to do it. Like right now, like the desire to make money from my art is pulling me to actually like working on stuff and I'm actually doing stuff, which is I love that. I wish I was doing it more often, but I am thinking about it a lot, if not necessarily pen to paper. So
Yeah, couple that with a walk around the block.
being outside, I don't have the credentials. I don't have the clearance for that. Um, but yeah, this week I want to actually get that uploaded, and I will send you a link to the item, and you can stare at it with your special eyes, and it'll be a hoot.
Nice, very nice. Well, got anything else to chat about here?
What are your goals for this week?
To not have a week like this. Um, I want for my plan of action to happen, for me to restrict myself a little bit and get back into production.
What are you wanting to produce?
And that's part of the what I need to think about. So it's I all I know is I want the next time we talk there to be a lot of work that was done. What that work is, I don't care. Production.
Okay.
Um, I just need it not to be like this.
All right. Well then, I think we can call it here. We will see you next week when James will be not like this.
What about you, Joe?
What about me? I'm
You didn't
awesome.
say anything about. what you were gonna do.
I told you I was gonna get my thing up for this week. I was gonna get it colored, line
Oh,
colored, and up and for
oh,
sale.
well, okay, gotcha. I didn't know that was your.
Yeah, that's my goal for the
Okay,
week.
all right. Well then, at least you know what you're gonna do. So I
Mm-hmm.
expect great things from you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have a Google Drive on how much it's gonna cost me to ship everything out, and I'm gonna price it accordingly. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna become a real life merchant. That'll be fun.
Excellent.
With books and balances and ledgers and oh my. All right, bye.
But